Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're hiking at Sagehen Meadows, and this is going to take us along this creek you see up here. I'll show you. You can kind of see it. You're going to have to forgive me if there's a white spot on the camera. There's a piece of sand from our last trip, and the damn thing refuses to blow out. So I'm taking the camera in for a cleaning Sunday. I wanted to get in one more trip before I do it. If you think my lens is dirty, no, it's not. It's actually inside the lens. It's a camera defect, and it doesn't mean that I am a poor video camera producer or whatever. It just means that I'm dealing with a camera that seems to have a defect. So we'll be switching brands soon, because you know, you got out in the high desert for ghost towns and it's always getting full of dust and particles that you can't blow out. Sagehen Meadows is a very unique wildlife location. This is Sierra County. We're almost at Sierraville, and Independence Lake, where we are off-roading at, is just across the road. This is a new area we're hiking and journeying at, and ever since we found it a few weeks ago, we found hundreds of hikes around here that we can bring you, the viewer. So you really have to be thankful, because we're always bringing fresh content, fresh material, new areas to hike, and every hike poses new challenges, whether it's elevation, rock climbing, marshes. We park near the road, but soon, in a couple miles in, we'll be hiking through lush meadows with butterflies and wildflowers. Now it's 20 degrees right now. It is early in the morning. We are going to get up to 60. It's not going to get till 60 till 12, 1 o'clock. So for now, we just got to brave the cool weather. And you can see the ground's a little bit muddy. It's very lush. All the snow and melts and leaves behind a lot of mud. It's an early spring here. There should be snow in this area all the way up until June, and there's not. So we're going to take advantage of the wildlife. Maybe we'll see some unique birds. Every part of the National Forest, there's multiple wilderness and National Forests, have unique wildlife, unique birds, unique butterflies and flowers. So who knows what we'll see here today. But we're going to backpack, and I got my mocha. You got to have coffee or mocha when you're hiking, at least the first part of it. And what we're going to do, our plan is to hike up to the Stampede Reservoir once we get past Sagehen Meadows. The reservoir is notable for the last, I don't know, I'd say about the last 50 years. There's been very credible Bigfoot reports all around that reservoir. The reservoir sits nestled back by a bunch of large mountains and peaks. So you get a lot of Bigfoot sightings. A lot of Bigfoot creatures will come down from the higher elevations, and they'll go down to the Stampede. There's wild berries growing along the Stampede, and little tributaries where they can catch fish and deer, and they could get a drink of water. You have to have water for Bigfoot to be present, and there is so much water back here that you have to have that. See, now we're following the creek. Well, we'll be following this creek for a couple miles. Eventually we'll go through the meadows, and then we'll hit the Stampede Reservoir, and then we'll hike around the Stampede for a little ways, and I'll take you guys up to the Truckee River, which my buddy posted a video. They caught a 30-inch brown trout off one of the tributaries of the Truckee River. This is the Little Truckee River, and I crossed it when I went to Independence Lake a couple weeks ago, and it was raging. So if we can get to the Truckee River, we can look for tracks. It's not on any trail. It just sits back. It's a tributary that drains into the Stampede. And we can check along the Stampede Reservoir shore. There's a lot of sand for any Bigfoot tracks or even animal tracks, to see if a plentiful supply and abundance of wildlife to sustain such a Bigfoot creature. But you can see we're hiking deeper in the wilderness, and that's all there is out here. You have hundreds of hiking trails around here. And, you know, I'm one of these guys, I'll hike on the hiking trail. But today we're going to leave the hiking trail eventually. We're just going to make our own trail along the Stampede. Maybe we'll hike along the Truckee a little and take some pictures. And then, you know, we'll come back and make it a day. This is a whole new area. I've never hiked in these national forests up here. I think this is a Tahoe National Forest because everybody thinks the Tahoe National Forest borders Lake Tahoe, and it doesn't. It begins 10-15 miles north of Tahoe. However, you go from the Tahoe National Forest to the Plumas National Forest. You got a lot of national forests along the way. It's very scenic, very beautiful, and I'll film more later. This is your founder of the Paranormal Ghost Society. We're on the search for America's great ape, Bigfoot. Hiking in the woods. Like Little Red Riding Hood, huh? Just in this narrow path like the wolf's gonna jump out at you. The wolf. This trail's nice, man. I like it. It's got lots of woods and it follows the creek. Stampede is real scenic. So that's just one of the treats we get when we get to the Stampede.
There's gotta be wildlife though on the water.
The meadow, probably the meadow. There was ducks, and I said something and they flew off. I shouldn't have talked. I should have zoomed in and took their pic. But I was so excited to see ducks. I was like, there's ducks. And as soon as they looked at me, quack, they went off. Some ducks aren't like that. You can talk and they'll stand, they won't ever fly away. They don't give a crap. These ducks probably never seen a human in their life. So as soon as they looked at me and I talked, they were out. They like literally just booked it. I was like, oh, so much for that wildlife. Out of the woods again. We should be hitting the meadow eventually. A mile and a half? That's not bad.
And then the meadow leads you straight into the lake.
Awesome. Away we go. We're walking towards Sagehen Creek. Just want to show everybody, this is Bigfoot country. You could picture a big 12-foot creature walking up to the creek, scooping his hands, and either grabbing a fish or, you know, a drink of water. This is as fresh as it gets. Here, Jared, will you come here a second? All right, thank you, buddy. But I just want to show you, it widens right here, and there's salmon right now swimming, so maybe we'll see some. Look at this giant pond. And it's flooded due to the winter snow melting, but you could see there are animal tracks. Do you? There's a lot of birds. Don't go! Oh, the sapsucker's up there. That's a sapsucker. They got red heads and they look like woodpeckers, except they put holes in the tree and they eat the sap. He's way up there. We can't get him. Wow. This is nice. I seen two different birds here. I seen a yellow and black one and then the sapsucker with the red head. And they're just too high to photograph. And they move tree to tree really fast. You hear him?
Oh, he's on the left.
Let's see if we can. Bird crazy. There he is. I got you, you little bastard. There he is.
Over there, honey.
Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever seen a tree like this? It grows up, and then it grows to the left, and then it continues to grow up, and it's very tall. You see all kinds of oddities like that. But we're hiking on the trail. We're going to be leaving this trail soon, too. Don't think we're going to stay on the trail the whole day. We're actually going to go off into the woods where there are no trails. And what we're going to do is hike along the Stampede Reservoir in a very remote part of it. And then we'll go out to a peninsula, we'll get some family shots. And then what we'll do is we'll go out to the Little Truckee River. We'll take some pictures of the Little Truckee River. Now, I drove past it on the little pass through the mountains a couple weeks ago, and we turned off and went to Independence Lake, which is actually across from this area. It's across the hiking area, across the road. And what you do is you take up, there's about 5-6 dirt roads back there you can take, and they all go to different lakes, Independence being one of the larger ones. But what I'm going to do when our Jeep is able to traverse the thick mud, because I almost got stuck back there 3-4 times trying to get to the lake. But what I'm going to do is when I go back to Independence Lake, there's also 2 to 3 other little lakes nearby. And you can drive to them all, and what I'll do is we'll backpack around each lake out there. But we got to give it another month or 2 till it dries up. There's still snow melt, there's still creeks and rivers that are flooding roads. And you don't want to get stuck 14 miles away from the road. That's the walk of shame. You don't want to do the walk of shame. It's a pain in the ass. I could deal with coming back at a later date. And when we do, we'll give you guys an awesome Bigfoot investigation. The thing about Bigfoot is you can go out to 100 places. Only 2 places will have tracks or a Bigfoot sighting or evidence. So when you watch a show like Finding Bigfoot, and wherever they set up, they find evidence, is a bunch of malarkey. Cryptozoologists work hours and hours and hours, multiple, times, take 40 hours, times that by 10, and that's how hard a cryptozoologist works to find some evidence or build a case. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. When you watch our videos, whenever we find Bigfoot evidence, it's a diamond in the rough. And we don't know what we're going to find. There are times there's a lot of hikers here. My guess would be once we go to the Stampede Reservoir and we hike along the shoreline and in the woods, we will up our chances 10 times of finding a track. You're not going to find a track on this trail. It's very rare. I mean, this is a creature that could step right over the trail and go get a drink of water and not leave a foot impression. See how thick the pine needles are? There's no tracks here. None. At the Stampede Reservoir, where it's very muddy along the banks, you up your chances. Oh, here's Sagehead Meadows coming up, guys. See it? Oh, look, flowers. These are new, guys. These are new. Look. I've never seen these. These are new. There's a lot of different species that are found here of flowers and birds and not found in other places. So I want people to keep in mind that when I hike in the northern Sierras, the wildlife is different than the southern Sierras or the central Sierras. Based on the wilderness area, based on where you hike, what peak you're on, what national forest you're in, what elevation you're at, depends on the wildlife you're going to see. Now those flowers, I've never seen them, and I've hiked in the Sierras a lot. So that's a new species for me, a flower. And yeah, I photographed them because I like to photograph any of the flowers, but when it's something new, that's better. Here's Sagehead Meadows, and there are no flowers.
Looks like everybody just mowed it.
I don't know, man. There should be flowers. I've seen flowers in other... Huh?
Is it because it's so cold still at night?
No, because when we were up in Sierraville and Sierra City, there was lots of wildflowers growing along the sides of the roads. And it's just as cold there as it is here. It's colder there, because at night it gets down to 15 there, and there's flowers. There's supposed to be, ladies and gentlemen, flowers in this meadow, and we don't see nothing. Maybe the flowers will come in another month. Here's some yellow flowers. Are those buttercups? Buttercups.
No, those aren't buttercups. I don't know what those are.
I'll say you're a stick.
Wow. Sagehead Meadows, folks.
I'll get this on.
Let's cross the little tributary. Whoa, slippery rocks. It's all you, man. Don't get your feet wet. Show some skill. I'm gonna laugh when you fall in. Okay. Look how long it keeps going for. It's a huge meadow. Hey, I don't mind hiking back here. I let Tammy choose this time because I figured she could choose a couple places we could go too. Because I'm always up to hike anywhere, really. If it's somewhere new, I'm all for it. I've never been here, so it's a possibility there could be some strange activity. UFOs, Bigfoot, anything could be back here. Just because people hike here don't mean there's nothing strange. I've been to places a lot of people hiked and found big tracks of some barefoot creature, so just because there's a hiking area doesn't mean you won't find a track of something that crossed over to the creek. Of course, this is not finding Bigfoot, so even if every place we go we don't find something, that doesn't mean it's not there. It just means you have to hike 20 times in the same place to find something. Because this is a nomadic creature. It may only pass through here one time a year. Yeah, I know. There's no flowers hardly. There's some, not many though. Well, not always. You could come here in May and this meadow could be brown. That's a woodpecker. It's a woodpecker or a sapsucker. 3 bangs?
Yeah. Not multiple bangs.
That's a woodpecker.
Woodpecker. That's a pecker banging against a tree, okay? I know a pecker when I hear a pecker. I know a pecker when it's banging. Into Sagehen Meadows, baby. We are here. Next stop, Stampede Reservoir.
Yeah.
That's a woodpecker. I wish that was Bigfoot. I'd cream in my pants. I'd get so happy and excited, I'd be howling and hooting and jumping up and down. I get excited for Bigfoot. That's why I grow a beard every year. It's for Bigfoot. Guys with beards, do you notice the guys with the beards are the ones that find the tracks?
Yeah.
The guys without the beards never find no evidence.
Oh, but me,
I'm serious, man.
I find that.
90% of dudes with beards hiking in the woods find Bigfoot or see Bigfoot. 10% of guys without beards hardly ever get sightings or have tracks. Bigfoot likes guys with beards. It is my theory. I think that this is a creature that feels more comfortable
Around other hairy creatures?
Yes, that's exactly it.
This right here.
I guess it just converges back to...
Yeah.
Oh wow, look, we're getting to some
See, this is where the cows grow, in this meadow.
is this the sheep herding area or what?
Yeah.
Why are some flowers out and not all of them are out?
The weather, I think it's still too cold.
That doesn't mean it's not a good hike.
No.
Still a good hike.
To be honest, I really want to just flowers.
I want to see those lilies, man, that come out in 1 week a year. That would be phenomenal. I would sell that pic. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. There's a bunch of sand up ahead. That's not the reservoir, though. Oop, muddy. See what other kind of birds we can find. I've tried to get 5 pictures of wildlife, and they've all flew off or ran away before I could snap the pic. You got to be fast on the cam, which I am, but they're a lot faster. A lot faster.